Welcome to this episode in our evolution series. Today we're exploring analogous structures, one of the most fascinating pieces of evidence for evolution. Analogous structures demonstrate how different organisms can independently evolve remarkably similar solutions to the same environmental challenges. By the end of this video, you'll understand what makes structures analogous, how they differ from homologous structures, and why they're so important for understanding evolutionary processes. So what exactly are analogous structures? Simply put, they are body parts or features in different organisms that perform similar functions, but evolved independently from completely different ancestral origins. The key word here is independently. These structures look similar and do similar jobs, but they didn't come from a common ancestor. Instead, they arose separately through the evolutionary process. Think of birds, bats, and butterflies. All three have wings that allow them to fly. But as we'll see, these wings evolved through completely different pathways. Analogous structures are the result of a process called convergent evolution. This happens when different species face similar environmental pressures or challenges and independently evolve similar solutions to overcome them. For example, if different organisms need to move through water efficiently, they might all evolve streamlined body shapes, even if they're not closely related. The environment essentially shapes the evolution of these organisms in parallel ways. This is one of nature's most elegant demonstrations of natural selection at work, showing us that evolution is not random, but responds predictably to environmental demands. Let's look at the classic example of wings. Bird wings, bat wings, and insect wings all serve the same function, flight, but their evolutionary origins are completely different. Bird wings are modified forelimbs, with feathers attached to arm and hand bones. Bat wings are also modified forelimbs, but here the finger bones are extremely elongated with skin stretched between them. Insect wings are entirely different. They're extensions of the insect's body wall, made of chitin, and have nothing to do with limbs at all. Same function, three completely different structural origins. That's what makes them analogous. Here's another excellent example of convergent evolution: streamlined bodies for swimming. Dolphins, sharks, and penguins all have torpedo-shaped bodies that reduce drag in water. But these three animals belong to completely different groups. Dolphins are mammals that evolved from land-dwelling ancestors. Sharks are fish that have been swimming in the oceans for hundreds of millions of years. Penguins are birds that adapted to an aquatic lifestyle. Despite their vastly different evolutionary histories, they all independently evolved similar body shapes because that shape is hydrodynamically efficient for moving through water. It's crucial to understand the difference between analogous and homologous structures, as they tell us different stories about evolution. Analogous structures have similar functions but different evolutionary origins. They arose independently through convergent evolution. Homologous structures, on the other hand, come from the same evolutionary origin, from a common ancestor, but may now serve different functions. For example, a human arm, a whale flipper, and a bat wing are homologous because they all evolved from the same ancestral forelimb structure, even though they now do very different things. Understanding this distinction helps scientists trace evolutionary relationships between organisms. Let's explore a few more fascinating examples. Camera eyes evolved independently in vertebrates like humans and in octopuses, which are mollusks. Despite similar structure and function, these eyes arose through completely separate evolutionary paths. Succulent leaves for water storage evolved independently in cacti from the Americas and euphorbs from Africa. Sticky toe pads for climbing evolved separately in geckos and tree frogs. Even complex behaviors can be analogous. Ants and termites both live in sophisticated social colonies with division of labor, but they evolved this lifestyle independently. These examples show that convergent evolution can produce similar solutions at every level, from simple structures to complex behaviors. Let's summarize what we've learned about analogous structures. First, analogous structures perform similar functions but have different evolutionary origins. They didn't come from a common ancestor. Second, These structures arise through convergent evolution, where different species independently evolve similar traits in response to similar environmental pressures. Third, analogous structures provide powerful evidence that similar environments drive similar adaptations, showing that evolution follows predictable patterns. Finally, remember that analogous structures are fundamentally different from homologous structures, which share common ancestry. Understanding analogous structures helps us appreciate the creativity of evolution and how natural selection can produce similar solutions to the same problems in completely unrelated organisms. Thanks for watching this episode on analogous structures.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.